We are students from the College of St. Scholastica. We're all sophomores and juniors. Right now we're in Cuernavaca, Mexico. We're here for a 6-week Spanish program where we will be taking 10 credits, 4 of them in a language course, 4 in a history course about Mexico, and 2 we will be doing an internship.
Some things that we're going to talk about in this video are things that we completed in just a week and a half span, so we fit a lot in there. We had several different speakers come to see us, and we went on a lot of different excursions to people's houses, different cities, and saw a lot of Mexico already.
Some of the things that we've done so far are visit the Palace of Cortez, visit a hospital, a midwife, La Estacion, which is a squatter settlement on an old train station with over 3,000 people. Some of our speakers have been Ross Gandy, who's an economist at the University of Mexico, or the University of Cuernavaca, a former migrant worker, domestic worker. So anyway, we have a bunch of interviews coming up.
Yeah, we just went to a bunch of people, asked questions about what their favorite speakers were, what their favorite excursions were, and yeah, just some information about what we've been doing so far. We hope you enjoy.
Who was your favorite guest speaker and why?
My favorite guest speaker would have to be Ophelia, because she just shared all of her memories about being a domestic worker and all the struggles she went through. And she really emphasized the power that women have, and that even if you don't come from the greatest background, you can succeed in whatever you want to do.
Cool. What was your favorite guest speaker and why? My favorite guest speaker so far was the partera, the midwife, whose house we went to. She lived in a neighboring village and basically delivers all of the babies for that village and surrounding poor towns or neighbors. And also is the only form of birth control information and delivery system that they have in that town. And so for me, this was my favorite experience because I really want to go into labor and delivery. It's what I want to do after school. And so to be able to see the differences between the United States and here, how she does it here in Mexico was so exciting for me, and it really just was the most interesting thing. I know a lot of people were like, "This is disgusting," and I was like, "Yes." But she is she works out of her own house. It's a little room off of the side of the house with a bed and a birthing bed, if you want to call it, and really just gives the people the freedom to have their baby whatever they want, and she's there, and if anything goes wrong, there's a local hospital that she brings them to. But for me, it was just so bizarre because it's extremely different in the United States. I feel like there's a lot more C-sections in the United States and a lot more safety precautions, and so I was just asking questions off, crazy. I couldn't stop because I was so interested in it. It was a really good experience and really eye-opening, and she told us we could come back here at the end of the month because she's supposed to have some deliveries then, and we can watch one of them, and it will be the first delivery I've ever seen. So I'm really excited about that. Might not be feeling the same way after, but who knows. But yeah, just really, for me, since it connected with my interests, it was really fulfilling. It was a great experience.
Awesome, thanks. What was your perspective on the visit with La Partera, or the midwife?
It was interesting, to say the least. Something that really disturbed me was the smell of the place. Laura and I kind of had to sit outside because, when you're thinking of babies and abortions and stuff like that, and then combined with the smell, we kind of got a little freaked out, so we sat outside for that. But I thought what she had to say was really interesting, and I was surprised by the lack of education on birth control, contraceptives in Mexico. And I think it's really important that I think it's really helpful that she teaches people about it and helps young women with this. And I also thought it was really nice when she said that she charges, I think she said about $1,800, but if someone can't afford it, she helps them anyways. So I definitely really liked how helpful she was to the community and young women.
Thank you. Can you tell me who your favorite speaker was and why?
My favorite speaker was Maggie. She was a returned migrant from the United States, and she was born here in Cuernavaca and went with her family over to the States when she was a little kid, and she told us about the experiences that they went through working with the border patrol and climbing over the fence literally like a movie and running through the desert. And she just talked about all the struggles that they ran into in the U.S. And eventually they got shipped back to Cuernavaca because of an accident, and she actually said that she wouldn't go back, that to her family's the most important thing, and she'd just like to stay here. So I think just hearing her story and her perspective was interesting.
All right, thank you.
Can you tell me a little bit about your experience at La Estación?
At La Estación, pulling up, it kind of was a little bit sketchy because it was like almost like a ghetto in a way. Going in there, I mean, we obviously knew there wasn't a lot of money because it was a women's organization, so it basically thrived off of voluntary work and got started by a solo woman itself. So when we got there, we went into their main area, and looking at the board, it was like the things that they were going to learn about during that day. And then there was a little kitchen where they make the kids breakfast in the morning, and then there was obviously the women, the volunteers, if you will. And then we got directed to 2 different houses. The first woman that we saw was Berna, correct? Yeah, she was probably my favorite speaker. Walking into her house was the biggest shock of my entire life. Honestly, her house was the size of my bedroom. It was super small. It was made with tin. There was just stuff everywhere. It looked like a hoarding house. And she had 6 kids along with her and her husband. And there was only 2 kids there at the moment because 4 of them were going to morning school. But just listening to her talk, like, you could tell she was a little bit embarrassed because of her living conditions, but at the same time, she was so proud of her kids because, you know, people are really proud of each other when you have those people who grow up in conditions that aren't exactly optimal, and then they thrive from those conditions. So that was really nice to hear that, you know, she loves her husband, she loves her family, she picks up spare work, and, you know, she just does what she can to keep her family, you know, going on and putting all 6 of her kids through school. So that was definitely very impressive. The second house that we went to was, help me out, what was her name? Myrna or something? Myrna. And that house was a lot nicer. It was still the size of my bedroom. She had 2 kids, one in kindergarten and one in grade school. Her kids were also very smart. She was bragging about how they get like 9 out of 10s, you know, they get good marks. One interesting fact I found out about La Estación was that they get water every other day. So like one day Berna will have water and the next day she won't because her neighbor will have the water. And that's just something I can't even imagine. Like, I take about 3 showers a day, and, you know, they have bins where they preserve the water. They take extra during that day so they can just go for the next day itself. So definitely La Estación was interesting to see how people lived, but at the same time, they thrive in their own conditions.
All right, thank you.
Can you tell me about your favorite group excursion?
Yeah, my favorite excursion was at the hospital. We got to see Ricardo Herrera, who is an oncologist at the hospital in Cuernavaca, the public hospital. I guess what surprised me the most was how small the hospital was compared to what you see in the United States. They only had 94 or 95 beds, and they had like 120 staff. And it just, I don't know, that just seemed crazy to me. Usually hospitals, you see like several floors, a bunch of different wings and everything. And also just even how people acted and dressed there was a lot different than what you'd see in the United States. But I really enjoyed our experience there. It was really cool to see what he did on a daily basis and just the differences between what you'd see here and there.
Sweet, thanks.
Can you tell me about your favorite group excursion?
Yeah, my favorite group excursion was when we went to the Palace of Cortez, which was where Hernando Cortez, after the conquistador from Spain, built his palace to rule over Mexico, his new empire. And he built it in here in Cuernavaca because it's really nice and there's great fields and everything. And they built it on top of an ancient Aztec church type thing. And so there's a whole museum set up, and you walk through, and it starts with the really ancient Mesoamerican native groups and animals and plant stuff, and goes all the way through all the history of Morelos, which is the state Cuernavaca's in. And it was just really cool, and we learned a lot. You can kind of go through at your own pace, but it was just packed with information, and it was just a really cool way to learn the history that was a lot more interesting, and you could go at your own pace. So I really liked that.
Right, thank you.
What is the biggest insect you have encountered while here in Cuernavaca?
Well, my first morning when I decided to go take a shower before the day started, I looked down at my feet and saw a scorpion about yay big crawling right next to my shampoo bottle. So I decided to put my shampoo bottle on it thinking that it would kill it. And then after my shower I got out and wanted to show people, and they took the shampoo bottle off and it was still living. So then we got Tyler to come and kill it for us.
Tell me about your quest experience in El Centro.
Well, Alexa and I were partners, and that was the first mistake, because you don't put two blondes together in downtown Cuernavaca.
That's
What are you
rough.
saying about me?
That is
No,
rough.
not
I'm not that blonde.
Okay, anyways, so then it was me and Pagina and Laura
Paige.
together.
Yep. And let's see.
We joined up
From
together.
the beginning, it was hard for me and Alexa because the maps. I prefer my phone.
We pretty much champed ours.
Yep.
Why were you in El Centro?
Well, they made us take the bus. They only gave us 70 pesos plus
Which
a
is
50
the
back.
average minimum wage here in Mexico.
Technically, yeah, okay, and then they gave us 50 pesos in
In
security
case we got
money.
lost. And then we had to go down, take the bus. First experience on the bus, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. To the center, downtown Cuernavaca. We had to basically just go to a cathedral, a chapel, the farmer's market, and a supermarket.
Basically the hangout places of all Mexican culture
Or,
downtown.
the cool, the touristy kind of places. But anyways, so the chapel and cathedral and stuff was really cool. And then we get to the market, and first problem is that place was packed. That was very stressful. Anyway, so you get your food, and you're supposed to be able to pay for it with 70 pesos. Did not happen.
We pretty much completed it, our group did. We only went 9 over. Yeah, we did, woman, because some of us can bargain, right?
Anyway, so we had to break into our safety money before we even got in danger.
This is true.
And then we meet at the final location, the bodega.
Which is a supermarket.
It's basically like the Walmart of
To
Mexico.
check the prices to see if we did better or worse at the People's Market.
Cool. So far, I'd say the trip had its baby bumps, but
But it was fun. It still went pretty smooth.
It was a good experience.
We learned.
And then we're walking back. We're like, oh, the bus. Gerald told us the bus is gonna be next to whatever.
And it needs to be number 3. So
And
the first number 3 we find, we hop on. We're like,
ready
great.
to get out of there.
We're
It's
set.
hot.
It's hot. We've had a long day. We've been walking all day. See number 3, bam. Us
Alexa
5
and
are on it.
I spent our last 13 pesos.
Literally, that's
That's all.
It took 13 pesos to get to
That's
the
all we
bus,
had.
and that's all we had.
That was it. And I'm sitting here because I have anxiety problems. We'll say.
Yep.
I'm going.
We will say.
I just don't feel right about this. I just don't feel right about this. So finally, I was like, okay, I'm asking. And I asked if if he was bringing us to the right spot. What was the
No,
answer?
no.
No,
Not,
definitely
he's
not.
like, well, we're going to, where were we going?
We're going to Acapulco.
Yeah, Acapulco.
Yeah, we were going like south.
Alright,
So way north.
we needed to be like up here on this hill, and we were like way
On the
over
coast.
here, like, and continuing further south. So we're like, all right, well, what are we gonna do? Because those two don't have money. So then we asked the bus driver for them to have their money back, so we'd be able to hop on another bus, which was a struggle bus for Jillian because
He let out an audible sigh.
He was not very happy.
He was
about
not,
it.
because I couldn't understand him, and then Alexa went up, and he was just pissed, because we were like, well, we can't afford another bus, and anyways, he's like, I'll drop you off somewhere, and you can get on a different bus. Okay, thanks.
So he dropped us off at this random corner.
Super
Like,
sketchy.
like,
Super
like
sketchy.
middle
Like,
of nowhere,
but
and
then-
all the cars driving past.
Yeah, but then there was this really nice guy who was like a vendor. He was selling some kind of food or whatever, and he just knew that we were just straight up lost. We were frustrated, just no idea
Screwed.
what we were doing. So we gave him the card that Gerald gave us, and then he basically told us like what bus to take. So
Yeah,
he was like flagging buses down. Nope, you're not the right one. Flagging
No.
buses down. Finally put us on the right bus, which is super nice of him.
Very
And
nice.
he said these girls need to be dropped off at the OXXO. So like half hour later, he's like, you know, girls, you need to get off.
The
like,
bus driver.
stop."
The bus driver's like,
Oxxo is a
Yeah.
convenience store, by the way.
That's close to our house.
Yeah.
supposed to
So he drops us off at this corner, and we're thinking, like, we knew it wasn't like totally right. We thought that he just didn't go up the hill.
Yeah, we thought he was just being
We
lazy.
thought we were like 3 blocks away
Yeah.
from home.
Yeah.
So we get off and we're walking, and we're walking, and we're quickly approaching Oxford, and all of a
Like,
sudden,
all right, this is not even close to being right.
This is not our Oxxo.
Alexa's like, you know, shows on the map again, like, we need to be here.
the person at the front desk of the Oxford.
Yeah, and then what did he tell you, Alexa?
He told us, so he looks at the map, he goes, okay, well this is where you are, you know, you're on this street, you need to go down and up and up and up, and then it's right there. And us thinking, okay, so we'll go down a block, up 4 or 5 blocks maybe, you'll be there in like 15 minutes.
40 minutes later, and still walking. I'm just
Uphill,
so
uphill.
pissed.
All uphill.
We're already
no
all
shade. Dirty
Completely
roads.
drenched.
Carrying our food, by the way, which is really heavy.
I had milk in my backpack.
And I was like joking about 20 minutes before, like, dudes, let's just hitch a ride. Let's do it. Let's just go. Let's hitch a ride. And I wanted a ride, so I was like death eye contact with him, and he's like, do you need to go up the hill? You know, like signaling me from his car. And I'm like, yes. I just snapped and pointed. He whipped at you. He came, picked us up, hopped in the bed of his truck, raised the pits. I was so sweaty.
So basically, it was so cool because at that point, well, minus Alexa, but we're all standing in the back of a pickup truck, which is totally illegal in the United States, and we're all like, wow, this is fun!
And we decided that this guy was trustworthy because we could see in his backseat that he had a Herbalife shake.
So he was a good person. And
Well,
so he drives
Big
us.
risk, big reward.
Yeah, you know what? You lose some, you
And
win
then
some.
we
want
pull
this.
into the driveway,
We
and
think
we
we're
look
safe.
behind us.
We're like,
we're not telling anyone. We're like our secret, guys. Our
mentioning it.
secret.
All of a sudden, this white Suburban pulls around, and we're like,
Shit.
oh my god. Like, that is Gerardo, and that is
Gerald.
Flug, and we are done for. We're in so much trouble.
We're not really being let out of our rooms.
So
But-
we hop out, give him whatever money we have left.
10 pesos.
Which is, literally, we gave him $1. I honestly was like, I saw Flug and I was like, scale to 1 to 10, how screwed are we right now? And he just started laughing because, the moral of the story, Sophia had seen us walking and she called Gerald and was like, your girls are not even close. They're walking to the house right now. So, anyways, another way.
Looking back on it, it is a funny story. Yeah, we can
It's
laugh
a great
about it now.
experience, yeah.
And we learned a lot that day.
During the time, I wanted to maybe kill
Pissed.
someone, but right now, looking back, it was really fun.
Emotions would be confused, annoyed, hot, angry.
We had to
Pissed off.
navigate with the buses. We had to navigate using our maps. We had to use our Spanish. We had to barter
horrible
with
at that point.
people. We had to compare prices. walked around town, like taking all the different senses. It had been a long day.
We all know that we got the best experience out of it because of that trip back.
Yep.
You know,
Heard
it
that.
was, my calves are a lot stronger from it.
And we had a great night to follow it up, so
Yeah.
that's all that matters.